Hi guys, it's Miss Katie, and today we're going to read another story. It's not as silly as the last one, but don't worry, it's pretty cool. We're going to read The Elves and the Shoemaker. If you haven't heard about it, that's okay. It's a pretty old story, but we're going to read about it today, so you're going to learn what it's about. Now, from our title and the cover, what do you think this book's about? The Elves and the Shoemaker. Well, from the cover, we know these two must be the elves because they have the pointy hat and the pointy ears, and they're working on a shoe. Do you think they're helping the shoemaker? But let's back up a little bit. Do you know what a shoemaker is? Well, it's pretty obvious. They make shoes. But we don't have that many around today. A lot of times we have a factory and a machine makes our shoes and they spew them out very fast so you get a whole bunch of them instead of just one pair. Now way back into the olden days, they had people that would make shoes for a living. You'd come into their store and on shelves and in windowsills they'd have shoes, and there'd only be one pair, and there might not be a whole row like in our shoe stores today. There probably would be like 10 depending on how many they have in stock and how many they've made. And if they were in your size, great, and if they weren't meant for you. So that's what a shoemaker is. He makes shoes. And I think he gets a little bit of help from these two elves. But let's read and find out. Now, like all the other two stories we've done, usually I would read, open the page, read the words, and we'd follow along with the pictures. But we're still using our handy dandy felt board where I have my script, and as I read along with the script, we act it out with our felt pictures. So again, this works on how reading goes along with the pictures and how the pictures go along with our words, just like in a story. So I'm very curious to see what these little elves are going to do for the shoemaker. So let's read. All right, the shoemaker and the elves. Once upon a time, there was a shoemaker. Now, I have a lot of pieces, so I'm going to be leaning off to the side. But that's okay, because we're going to get a whole bunch of pictures this time. So we have our shoemaker. Even though he worked hard in his shop, times were difficult, and he became poorer and poorer. Oh no, his shelves are bare. One evening, he realized he only had enough leather to make one more pair of shoes. He cut up his last piece of leather and laid the pieces out on his workbench to sew in the morning when the light was better. Here he is. He cut up his leather. I may never make another pair of shoes, he sighed as he put up the shutters over his shop window. The next morning, when he went back to his workbench, he found a beautiful pair of shoes. He examined them carefully and discovered they were made from the leather he had cut out from the night before. The stitches were exquisite, very tiny and neat, and he knew the shoes were far better than any he could have made. Quickly, he took down the shutters and placed the shoes in the shop window. Soon, the door opened, and in came a grand gentleman. He bought the shoes and paid 4 times more than the price of an ordinary pair. With his money, the shoemaker bought more leather and enough food for several days. That evening, he sat at his workbench and cut out 2 pairs of shoes from his new leather. He left the pieces, all as before, laid out all ready to sew in the morning and put up the shutters. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think these pieces of leather will turn into shoes as well? Do you think there's going to be more than 1 pair of shoes this time? The next morning, he could scarcely believe his eyes, for there on the workbench were 2 beautiful pairs of shoes. Who could sew such tiny stitches? He wondered, and who could work so fast? He placed the shoes in the shop window. Rich people who had never visited his shop before came in to buy them and paid a lot of money for them. Each night, for many weeks, the same thing happened. 2 pairs, sometimes 4 pairs, were made at night. The shoemaker cut out all kinds of shoes: men's shoes, ladies' shoes, little children's shoes, dancing shoes, party shoes, shoes with laces, shoes with straps and buckles. He became well known for the excellent shoes he sold, and each week he made even more money. So what's the difference from before? Remember, in the beginning of our story, his shelves were bare and he didn't have that much money. But then something magical happened. Shoes started to appear, more and more shoes, and now look at his shelf. It's full. And he has more money. One evening, just before Christmas, his wife suggested they should peek around the corner of the workroom to see if they could find out who was making the shoes. We're gonna have them hiding behind the bookshelf. I mean the shoes, the shoecase. Let's turn it this way. Because they're sneaking. They want to see who is making the shoes. Who do you think is making the shoes? Do you think the shoemaker is sleepwalking? Doing it in his sleep and not knowing? Or do you think the elves on the book cover are help making the shoes? So again, one evening, just before Christmas, his wife suggested they should peek around the corner of the workroom to see if they could find out who was making the shoes. As the town clock struck midnight, there was a scuffling and a scurrying by the window, and 2 tiny little men squeezed through a crack in the shutters. They hurried over to the workbench, took tiny tools from their work bags and began to work. Here they are, our little elves. They stitched and hammered until a row of new shoes lay on the workbench. Then, with their work finished, the elves left everything neat and clean and vanished from sight. As it was just before Christmas, the shoemaker's wife suggested they should make presents for the 2 little men who had helped them so much through the year. The next day, she made 2 little jackets, 2 pairs of pants, 2 hats, that matched. Her husband stitched 2 tiny pairs of shoes, of boots. the shoemaker and his wife laid these gifts on the workbench that evening. They then kept watch again. So let's put out their cute little shirts. So here we go. We got our 2 coats, 2 hats, 2 shirts, 2 pants, 2 boots, and 2 socks. Do you think the elves are gonna like them? At the stroke of midnight, they saw the elves scramble over to the workbench and climbed onto the workbench as they had done before. When they saw the tiny jackets, pants, hats, and boots, they let out a shout of joy. The elves tried on their new clothes and were so delighted they danced around the workbench, waving their hats in the air. There they are in their new clothes. Then they sat down and ate all the food that had been left out and disappeared as they did before. After Christmas, the shoemaker still cut out the shoes and left them on his bench as he had before, but the elves never returned. They knew the shoemaker and his wife must have seen them, for their clothes were exactly the right size, and elves do not like to be seen. The shoemaker was now so well known, he had plenty of customers. Although his stitches were not as tiny and neat as the elf stitches, his customers never noticed. For many years, he was known as the best shoemaker in town, and he and his wife were never poor again. The end. So were our predictions right from the cover of our story? Did we have a shoemaker? Yes. Did we have elves? Yes. And were they making shoes? Yes. So, a lot of times you can tell what a book's about from the title and from the cover. Now it's our turn to look at some shoes. We're going to categorize or put them in categories, which is just where you have, this is our line to separate. Let's see if it'll stick. Magic. Ta-da! Perfect. So this is where you take a whole bunch of shoes, different kinds, and you put them in 2 different areas. This side, these shoes are going to have certain things that are the same. And then over here, we're going to have shoes that have something the same as well, but these are going to be both different. I'll show you. Okay, we have, it looks like we have Peppa Pig Crocs. Let's put them over here. And then let's put these teddy bear slippers over here. So first off, we know these are different. Would you wear these outside? No. But would you wear these outside? Yes. What else? Well, we'd wear these outside. We wear these outside. We wear these outside. I think these are Ugg boots, but they could be slippers as well. So either way, we'd wear these outside and we'd wear these outside. So we could put all of these shoes here because they were outside and just leave this pair. That's categorizing. That's showing all of the same that these have in common. We'd wear these outside. We'd wear these outside. We'd wear these outside. We'd wear these outside. Looks like we have gladiator sandals and flip-flops and frozen snow boots. Then it looks like we got monster snow boots or rain boots. And then we have our Uggs, but I'm gonna say they're slippers, so we'd wear these inside. So we have 2 categories. Shoes that we wear outside and shoes that we would wear inside. So let's see, we got teddy bear slippers, we got our Ugg slippers, then we got our Crocs, snow boots, sandals, gladiator sandals, and monster rain boots. So let's switch them up and make another category. As you'll learn, a lot of things can be in different sections with different reasons. So let's do small shoes and tall shoes. Okay, So let's move these down back on my board so we don't get confused. All right. So keep in mind, we're doing small shoes and tall shoes. Okay, let's do sandals. Are these tall shoes or are they small shoes? Short shoes. They're short, so they're gonna go over in this category. What about our Ugg slippers? Are they tall or are they short? Let's compare. These are short. Do they kind of look the same? No, so these are tall. So we'll put them in our tall section. So remember, short shoes, tall shoes. What about our teddy bear slippers? Are they tall or are they short? Short. Then we have our frozen snowshoes. Are they tall or are they short? Nope. They're tall. Then we have our Peppa Pig Crocs. Are they tall or are they short? They're short. So we'll put them in our short category. Then we have these sandals. Are they tall or are they short? And we have two more. We have our gladiator sandals. Just from the look of them, are they short? No, so where would we put them? With our tall shoes, and our last pair are dinosaur rain boots. Tall or short? Tall. So there we go. We sorted them or categorized them in another way. Let's do one more. I wonder what we will do. Let's think. We could do blue or colorful shoes or brown shoes. You want to do that one? Okay. So, what color are our Ugg boots? Brown. So we're going to put them in our brown category. And now our other category is going to be color or blue. What color are our frozen snowshoes? Blue. So would we put them in our brown section? No, we put them in our colored section. So we got blue. What about our dinosaur rain boots? They're blue as well. So I'd put them in our colored section. Good job. Next, gladiator sandals. What color are they? Brown. So would we put these in our blue or colored section? Nope, they're not blue. They're brown, so that means we put them with our brown Ugg boots. What about our teddy slippers? Yep, we're gonna put them in our brown shoes. Then we have rainbow flip-flops. They have a lot of color in them, don't they? They also have some blue. So we're gonna stick them in our colored shoes section. And we have two more. Brown sandals. Where would we put these? Do they look like they'd go here? No. Do they look like they'd go here? Yep, so we're gonna put them right here. And lastly, our Peppa Pig Crocs. Do they have brown in them? Nope. What color are they? Blue with some yellow and some pink. So where would we put them? Right over there. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do. And I hope you have a good day, and if not, make it a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.